Strong-willed kids can bring you to your knees and also lead the world someday, but only if we guide their power and not crush it. So, as the parent of strong-willed kids, and of course, as just a ridiculously strong-willed kid, no surprise because my mom, Philomena, was as tough as could be. Like, it would be hard to put into words how strong she was. She just came the D'Onofrio side is tough. There are a lot of, like, very important people on the D'Onofrio side, to generals, to cardinals, to senators, like, these are people that have an inner fortitude, right? And it's like a bit of a personality characteristic. So, that strong-willed personality, right? These are like become amazing human beings, but parenting a strong-willed kid isn't easy. And, these tend to be brighter than average kids. And there's a lot of strengths in our strong-willed kids, right? They're natural leaders. They often feel things very passionately, have strong convictions. They're curious. They could be full of ideas. They tend to be very courageous. Like my mom was so strong. I thought to myself, she was 19 years old. She got married and came to another country. Um, I don't know if I would have done that. Like, but she just did it, and, just peace, just that strength, right? Especially when nurtured, they can be really loyal people, right? Because they're strong. And so strength brings a lot of loyalty. They can be persistent through challenges and resilient when emotionally supported. And that's so important that we don't want to just feed into the strength. We want to feed into the emotional strength as well. They can be deeply committed to things that they believe in. And really, again, that persistence is not just through challenges, it's through ideas. And not be afraid of failure, which I love. Giancarlo gave his graduation speech and it was awesome. And it was really about what he's learned through failure. And I was so impressed by it because, as a dyslexic, he's had to work really hard. And he's a scientist and he loves science. And so they spend so much time learning through failure. It's pretty cool. Strong-willed kids can be really amazing problem solvers because they're persistent. And that persistence, which can annoy you, has this other beautiful side of not wanting to give up and figure things out, which is great. Strong-willed kids can be misunderstood. Their intensity can be off-putting sometimes. It can look like defiance when it's really their persistence and passion in disguise. They resist control and crave autonomy and deep understanding. Like, I feel like that just describes me actually. I resisted control. Like, I'm super nice until you try to control me and tell me what you're going to do. I had one of the most narcissistic people ever contact me, and he's the spouse of an influencer. And he was so rude. And he was like, yeah, you're just going to meet with me. And I was like, okay, well, here, you can talk to my team and you can make an appointment. And he was like, I mean, we're supposed to be go-givers. And I was like, I'm not giving you an appointment. Like, you're gonna pay for an appointment. I don't even know you. Like, you're not my friend who I want to just talk to about their kid. How are you more important than, the army veteran who's coming to me? You're not. So he didn't know. Don't tell me what to do because it ain't gonna happen. So it was a great example of how you try to push people, strong people. We don't like to be pushed. We like to be asked. And then we're big softies. And traditional discipline does not do well with strong-willed kids because it triggers their fight mode. It doesn't trigger their cooperation. And, one of the biggest things that I found being the mother of strong-willed kids is they love to understand. They love to know what's behind it. I know when Giancarlo went to his school, I said to the teachers, I was like, he's such a respectful kid. He's literally going to like ask you why. Like, so was the kid that, there'd be like doing all these things and he'd be looking underneath trying to figure out how it was made. Like, he was like, "Yeah, that's cool. It does this, but how does it do that?" So, he'll always say like, "Oh, help me to understand how this is and whatnot." And, it's been great because he's in a place that allows for that. It's also allowed him to get a deeper level of knowledge. And I think that's incredible. But so important with strong-willed kids is to activate their thinking and curiosity and not to say no to things, right? Like, just to be like, "Oh, let's figure that out together." And they love that. So, strong-willed kids aren't really trying to make your life harder. They're trying to be heard and understood. Power struggles are a sign they don't feel either of those things, right? And they feel things really strongly. So, what helps with strong-willed kids? Clear boundaries. Every kid needs boundaries, people. Don't just go in there and go, "Oh, they're smart and they're gonna figure it out." You don't want shame, you don't want lectures. You're like, "Hey, we're doing this from this time to this time," or, "Hey, I know you love X, Y, and Z, but this is how we're doing that. We're only buying one of these, or we're only looking at these today. We're not buying these," right? They need explanations. They like to feel included, not dismissed. And explanations are not lectures. They're like teaching you and inquisitive stuff. Respectful tone when guiding them, right? Because they don't like pushback, right? Strong-willed kids, it could be a trigger in conflict. It doesn't mean we're not setting boundaries or even disciplining our kids, but we wanted to really be thoughtful of our tone. Freedom with structure. So give choices, not ultimatums. If you don't do this, this will happen. We've all done that, but give choices. You could do this or you could do this. The choice is yours, and that's okay. Whatever you choose, I'm cool with, and it's very empowering, right? So, what do you say all the time when you have kids that like really push back on you and it's coming from that strong-willed personality? These are bright kids. These are kids that often, strong-willed kids can have conflict at a lot of times with others, but a lot of times they're smart. So they really save it for those special relationships, mom and dad. But you can say, you have a strong opinion and I really respect that. Let's find a way to figure this out together, right? I'm not saying yes to that, but I'm listening. Let's talk about it. My mom was famous for saying maybe. Maybe, yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear you. Maybe. I was like, "Oh, that's a no." My dad was a maybe. He really was a maybe, and you could work on it with him, you know? Um, don't say things like, "Because I said so." That's gonna just trigger digging the heels in, digging the resistance, or, "You're so dramatic," or, how about, "Why can't you be easy like your brother?" That's gonna invalidate their emotions. It's going to create a further barrier and make them more resistant to going to the different kinds of emotions, right? What works with strong-willed kids, right? Collaborative problem solving. These kids love to think things through. What's your idea? Let's try to figure out some kind of solution in the middle. Maybe can you help me with that, right? Great skills, right? Calm redos. Oh, let's try that again with respectful words, and then we can talk about it. Okay. Pre-agreed routines and boundaries because they're going to prevent debate because strong-willed kids are debaters. They're like future attorneys. And so, routines and structure are your friend as long as you're telling them in advance. Natural consequences. Don't get into power plays with them. Let the consequences happen on their own. I mean, that really is how I parent. And I like to let my kids pick their own consequences because they're literally like 10 times worse than I would ever pick. It's so funny what they think, you know? Um, I like to use visuals and I like to use choice boards for kids. I use visuals even with teenagers. I don't really use choice boards with teenagers, but I will let them have choices. I think they're really helpful. And of course, you're gonna always have co-regulation practices. What can you do can you walk it off together? Can you breathe together? Can you model calm? I've been doing squat offs with my kids because I'm really into squats right now. And it's just fun. I mean, a lot about humor in there too. I mean, humor is just one of the best ways to just break the tension. You can't enter into humorous unless you're just bringing in all the time. I find it hard. In my house, nobody's serious. Like, I have to be like, let's be serious right now. And they're like, let's be serious, mom, you know? And that's because, it's really helpful. I love it. It's good. I need a lot of silly people in my life. And then always regulation before redirection. Don't go in hot. You have to calm before you can help your child problem solve. And the same is for them. And, raising a strong willed child isn't about controlling them, it's about really working to connect with them. And when you do connect with them, they will let you get in there and problem solve. But, these are bright kids. They're going to question things. And questioning doesn't have to be disrespectful if it's asked in a polite way. Like, just like I said, JC would ask in a very polite way, very inquisitive, really wanted to understand, oh, why are we doing these math problems? He wasn't like, why are we doing these math problems? So the same can be said for you. Like, you can go to your kid and be like, oh, it's really fascinating that you chose that. Like, what made you choose that when you had these other options? And it's great to teach them to have conversations with people because they're very strong and strong-willed kids. Man, these are great adults. They're going to cause a lot of gray hairs for us, but when you teach them to harness their power, and also never, especially if you have a daughter, never teach them to turn down their power, because let me tell you, Philomena and Tony never taught me to turn it down. And I frankly was in shock when I went to college and how meek women were and how submissive they were and how they took shit from their boyfriends and things like that. And I was like, man, I was doing therapy with them at 18. And I didn't know that women couldn't be strong until other people taught me, tried to teach me or tell me, I should say, that we shouldn't be as strong. No. So I love the conversations that are happening in the world, but our strong willed kids, we really need to teach them to finesse it, to teach them to be emotionally savvy about it, and that they don't need to show their power all the time, and that love and care is one of the greatest forms of power that you can give because it's so powerful, to provide that for others. And it really gives you a lot of respect for yourself and others. So I hope this is a great conversation. I'm very proud to be the product. I was a strong willed child, and it has served me well. And in many ways, and also to be the mother of strong-willed kids in totally different ways. And if you're looking for more support, go to drroseann.com/help. That's our solution matcher. It's going to guide you to the right solution for where you're at. And, just because you have a strong-willed child does not mean they have a clinical issue, but it might mean you need a little support and how to nurture it and foster it. And that's okay. That's a great thing. So, hope this was an empowering conversation for you. And I hope this, if you have younger kids, know that I think I'm a fabulous product of a strong-willed as being a former strong-willed child and strong-willed adult. But like, I hope this was empowering for you to help you to better parent your child, to foster the wonderful parts about being a strong human being.
Want more insights and solutions? Well, subscribe to our Dysregulation Insider and it will show up in your inbox every week.